When a ball bounces, basically it's a stretch. It squashes and then it keeps the volume, so it does something like, and when it bounces again, it goes into stretching again. Why is the principle of a squash and stretch so important? Because it's not only keeping the volume, and it's not only like a physical thing, but it's also a graphic thing. Graphic in the sense that we see a change happening in the animation. So for example, if you have a ball, squashing and stretching, that change of the shape is what is making things look more organic and more real.
Squash and stretch is basically the change of volume in any kind of shape. It shows graphically and visually its reaction against a force. The best example that shows this is the classic bouncing ball. But with time you're gonna find out that squash and stretch can be pretty much applied to anything or everywhere. Also, the change of volume makes things feel more organic, more elastic than stiff, as well as creating a feeling of weight in your animations. The change of shape is one of the principles that brings actions, a feeling of life in characters or objects. Anticipation is this. In order to throw this stone, I cannot just like and throw it. Or I can if I have muscles this big, but I don't. So in order to throw this and throw it with some power, then I have to go like this. Wow. So that action, before the action, that's anticipation. I'm anticipating the movement that I'm about to do. Same thing with a bouncing ball. A bouncing ball cannot just, it has to like squash and then, so that squash is actually anticipating the move. So I'm gonna do that again. Anticipation is crucial when trying to sell a movement or an action, because you are telling the viewer what movement or action you are going to do. Without anticipation, the audience will have no idea what just happened. And in films, we have to make sure audiences understand everything we're telling them. Staging is basically the way you present your idea, either with the character, either with your character animation, or the composition and the cinematography of the actual shot itself. It can go different ways. I mean, staging, it can be something as how you position your characters around the screen, how you present a pose and make it as clear as the audience can possibly watch it, or just something as where you place the camera in order for that idea you're trying to present to be as clear as you can. So staging, for me, the main point about staging is clarity. It's just presenting your idea as clear as it can be. Staging is all about presentation of the idea you're trying to show to the audience, and knowing how to direct the viewer's eye so that the audience knows exactly where to look at. The viewer should not be confused when they see something for the first time. We'll be breaking this down in different levels. First level, we'll be mostly covering staging your character on screen. We'll start you out with simple, clear tips on how to present your character animation as clear and as graphic as you can. We will also talk a little bit about the language of film, as well as the use of cameras. This will be basic film fundamentals that will help your approach and composition in animating characters. Second, and in a more advanced level, we'll talk about staging your character through a series of shots and cuts in order to serve the story. Straight ahead and pose to pose are basically methods of working. When we talk about pose-to-pose in traditional animation, the animators find the essential key drawings in the shot, and then they work drawings in between. Computer graphics and computer animation is no different in this sense. You pose your 3D models in the different actions throughout the shot, and then, after you get your timing figured out, you go back and start filling the gaps. Straight ahead, in the other hand, means animating sequentially. You start out with the first drawing, then you animate the second drawing, and so on. Each method has its advantages and disadvantages, and you will find what works better for you or not. Some people like to use both, where they pose-to-pose some parts and straight ahead other parts of the body. In the end, all the animator is trying to do is to bring his or her ideas put on paper or on the computer. To me, overlap is basically overlapping actions. So for example, if you have an arm, you have two main elements here, and you don't move those elements all at once. You basically start moving one and then the other one follows. So basically overlapping is overlapping different actions, so not everything happens at once. People or objects made out of different parts don't move from point A to point B all at once. So overlapping is basically breaking the movement of the different parts of the body when a person is doing an action, such as the spine, the head, the arms. If we stop and think about our own anatomy, we're going to notice that our locomotion and the way we move is actually influenced by the fact that we have bones and joints, and bones and joints do not move all together at the same time. So follow-through and overlapping action is a way to break down these movements to give it a more realistic or organic feel to the character, and especially to avoid stiffness. We'll teach all these things more in depth in our overlapping class taught by Bobby Beck, where he will divide the overlapping principle in different areas to understand it better. Slow in and slow out is basically how you distribute your drawings so that the timing seems believable. Talking in terms of drawings, slow in and slow out, which can be also called easy in and easy out, means that we need more drawings at the beginning of an action than in the middle of it, because we have to sell the idea that the object or character takes a little bit of time to get moving. This also applies as well to when the character of the object are coming to a stop. This principle breaks down movement in terms of timing, which makes any animation interesting. For example, when we don't use slow in or slow out, animations tend to feel lifeless or mechanical.